exciting.
All right, 1, 2, 3. A big official Mercyhurst welcome to everyone that's here with us this morning. I'm Cal Pfeiffer, Vice President of External Relations for Mercyhurst, and we are so pleased to have a record crowd for our opening. Record for this facility. The RSVPs just kept coming in, but we can't wait to showcase the new MCPc Cyber Education Center with you. I'm joined to either side by President Michael Victor, Governor Tom Ridge, Congressman Mike Kelly, Andy Jones, CEO of MCPc, and Tim Nicastro, CEO of Erie Insurance. Before I turn the podium over to President Victor, just give you the 5-second version of how we arrived here today. Approximately a year and a half ago, we received a phone call from MCPc. They had just seen the announcement about the Innovation District in the newspaper, and they wondered how they could become involved with Mercyhurst and our intelligence and cyber programs. Through a series of conversations and meetings, what you're going to see today was the end result. We agreed that we wanted a facility that was technologically unique, something that didn't exist on most college campuses throughout the country. The differentiating factor being the cyber lab connected with a security operations center, where Mercyhurst students would be hired by MCPc to address real-time threats as they come in, getting hands-on, critical experience to get them ready for the workforce to be our nation's future cyber warriors. But being technologically unique was not where we wanted to leave things, because most of these facilities on college campuses, even the ones that aren't similar to ours, are simply a classroom with desks and computers. We wanted it to be exceptional, to look the part, to be a conversation piece, to surprise people that Mercyhurst, this relatively small school in the corner of Northwest Pennsylvania in Erie, could be a real player for cybersecurity for the nation. So we turned to our own interior designer, one of our professors, came in a CFE, and we gave him a very simple instruction. Came and push the envelope and make it punchy. Approximately a week later, we went down to the Tap House in downtown Erie, where Cayman pushed 2 tables together and unveiled a 6-foot-long drawing. And that drawing is essentially what you're going to see today. And we hope that you agree with us and find it as exceptional as we do. So without further delay, I'd like to turn the podium over to the President of Mercyhurst, Michael Victor.
Well, thank you, Cal, for that warm introduction, and I hope I can match your enthusiasm. Well, good morning. It's so nice to welcome such a wonderful and, I might say, sizable crowd of friends and supporters to Mercyhurst, where today we're gathered to celebrate a momentous occasion, the grand opening of the MCPc Cyber Education Center here at Mercyhurst University. It's been a long time coming, and I'm sure you'll see for yourself the ingenuity, creativity, and the ultimate in technology that has been put in place next door in our new cyber complex. Mercyhurst is extremely enthused to be in the vanguard of cybersecurity, big data, risk and risk management education. I must say that our intelligence studies program has been a gift that keeps on giving. From its pioneering origins in 1992 as RIAP, or the Research Intelligence Analyst Program, it has grown to become widely known as the oldest and largest academic program of its kind in the nation, recognized for its leadership and proficiency in providing cutting-edge intelligence education. Now known as the Ridge College of Intelligence Studies and Applied Sciences under the leadership of Dean Duncan McGill, we are entering the next level of intelligence studies education in a very grand fashion, as you will all soon see. And this is with the dawn of our new Cyber Center. In fact, to take a quote from our namesake, Governor Tom Ridge, upon announcing plans for the Cyber Center project, Governor Ridge said, and I quote, "The construction of the new cyber training facilities ensures that Mercyhurst remains the vanguard in the field." Of course, we did not do this alone. We are grateful to our many benefactors who put their trust in us to deliver nothing short of the very best. As a result, we have top-notch faculty and facilities that help to produce remarkably talented and sought-after graduates. Our graduates work in all facets of intelligence, from business intelligence to law enforcement and national security. Even as students, they have completed contract projects for real-world decision makers, including many in Washington, D.C. Again, to quote our namesake, Governor Ridge. By the way, I bet, Governor, you didn't think I'd be pouring through your archives in the library to get all these quotes, did you? At any rate, a few years back when we christened our intelligence studies program and named it after the governor, he said, quote, "This program is widely recognized and acclaimed in Washington, regardless of whom the school is identified with." And that's a fact. True. We're glad you agreed to let us use your name, Governor. It has a really nice ring to it. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Congressman Kelly, who has likewise helped to build and spread the global reputation of our Intel program. In fact, thanks to Congressman Kelly, we have a very special guest to welcome here today from Washington. He's Jeff Pond, Director of the United States Department of Personnel Management. Dr. Pond manages federal government human resources to achieve trusted and effective civilian workforce. Take a bow. I'm told that thanks to our long history of providing Intel graduates for federal service, that you, Dr. Pond, wanted to see for yourself the launch of our Cybersecurity Center and learn more about our cybersecurity curricula. We again welcome you to Mercyhurst, Dr. Pond. You've come at an exciting time, and we have a great deal to show and tell today. A number of our local government leaders are here with us today, including County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper, County Director of Administration Gary Lee, and County Controller Mary Schaaf. From the city, I believe we have Chris Groner, the Director of the Department of Economic and Community Development. Welcome all. Now I'd like to extend a very special thanks to MCPc, especially Chairman Mike Treblecock and Andy Jones, and here in our Erie office, Matt Lechner. Please, all thank you. Thanks to their partnership, their funding support, and commitment to Mercyhurst, and I might add to Erie, Pennsylvania, as members of the Erie Innovation District, we are creating opportunities not only for our students, but for the economic growth of the greater Erie community. I'm sure my friend Tim Nicastro, CEO of Erie Insurance, would agree. I'd also like to acknowledge the following funding sources: the Alden Trust, Key Bank Foundation. I believe Regional President Todd Moles is with us. Todd, just raise your hand if you're here. Way in the back. There you go. Hewlett-Packard is represented here today by David Hines and Michael Howard. Gentlemen, raise your hands wherever you are. There you are, right in front. And a thanks to the Louis Damasceno family. Thank you all. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge a number of Mercyhurst people who've been instrumental in moving this project forward. The chair of our Board of Trustees, Rich Lenzillo. Rich, are you here? There we are. Along with my Vice President for External Relations and Advancement, Cal Pfeiffer. Vice President for Finance Administration, David Myron. And of course, I must acknowledge the efforts of our Chief Information Officer, Jeanette Britt, and her team for ensuring that all the computer systems were a go for today's launch. And lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't mention again Cayman Asifi, an instructor in our interior architecture and design department who took what could have been an ordinary classroom environment and created a space that, well, you'll have to see for yourself. It's simply out of this world, or perhaps it's out of a James Bond movie. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the CEO of MCPc, Andy Jones.
Good morning, everyone. Cal, President Victor, Governor Ridge, Congressman Kelly, and Tim Nicastro, panelists, thank you for the time. It's a very special day for us at MCPc. It's been a privilege to be associated with this fine university and, frankly, the extraordinary vision that we saw a year and a half ago. Governor Ridge, it's an equal honor to be linked with a college that bears your name. You, sir, are worthy of a national monument. Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, Lincoln, and Ridge. If we may be so bold, we wish to call it Mount Ridgemore and build it here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Creating the MCPc Cyber Education Center, MCPc would like to acknowledge the visionary leadership of President Victor and the important role that the Ridge College of Intelligence Studies plays in preparing students to meet this country's ever-rising demand for a skilled workforce in cybersecurity. I also want to take a brief moment and acknowledge our friends from Hewlett-Packard, Mr. David Hines, Director of U.S. Channels, and Mr. Michael Howard, Global Head of Security for Hewlett-Packard. Gentlemen, if you would. Without Hewlett-Packard's support, this cyber center would not have been possible. The technology that the MCPc Cybersecurity Education Center is using is literally powered by Hewlett-Packard, the thought leader in the world's most advanced and most secure computing. Gentlemen, this is a big, big thank you for your support for this event. So thank you, David and Michael, and Hewlett-Packard. So I was asked earlier today, why did MCPc get behind the creation of such a center? Well, it's pretty easy to see, or at least once you see it, it will be pretty easy to see. We're behind it because as an organization, we strive to stay at the vanguard of technology. And nothing ensures that you're able to accomplish that goal than a steady stream of talent. You're going to see, in addition to the 3 classrooms, state-of-the-art classrooms I may add, a cyber center that has a working, keyword, working security operations center that we intend to employ Mercyhurst students. We already have one full-time student that is interning as part of the program, and 2 more that start with the beginning of the semester. To get these students ready to serve in the countless companies in this very moment that need their skills. Those companies include MCPc. President Victor and Dean McGill, you are producing very compelling talent. This year, MCPc in Cleveland alone has employed 3 additional interns from Mercyhurst. One was so gifted and so skilled that we extended her full-time employment, and I would like to recognize her here today. Kendra Brown, are you in the room? Our contribution also represents MCPc's commitment to Erie's economic and social growth. Erie, and really the region, has been searching for a new identity, something to define ourselves with, something to be known as. We see this center as an opportunity to maybe move from importing talent into the region, and today placing a stake in the ground and moving to creating talent in the region. My hope is that the creation of talent moves to the potential export of talent. But if we do our part as community and civic leaders and create opportunities locally, maybe we'll get to retain the best and bright of that talent and grow the region as a whole. Of course, for us, such investments, if you think about it, really takes a village. In other words, our ability to make investments like this are based on the trust that organizations, civic, public, private, otherwise, instill in our business. So if you would allow me a shameless moment, I'd like to recognize Matt Lechner and Kathy Harrington and the over 40 additional MCPc families that call Erie, Pennsylvania home. If you trust in them and trust in us, I assure you, you will not be disappointed, and it will be a good use of your time. So with that, I will relinquish it back to Cal. Thank you all for this amazing opportunity to be part of the region, part of the university, and part of the growth.
I'd like to call Governor Ridge to the podium, but before I do, for those of you that are visitors to Mercyhurst today, Governor Ridge's background needs little introduction, but the Tom and Michelle Ridge Archive, so family photos, papers from his time as governor, and the first Homeland Security are right here at Mercyhurst. Governor.
Well, it's lovely to be home, and it's nice to be with my friends from Erie, Pennsylvania. Thank you for the kind introduction. One thing you didn't note is that when I was carrying a card in Laborers Local 603 at your first science building, I take personal responsibility for having constructed it. So and boy, has this camp has grown since the mid-60s, and under the extraordinary leadership of our new president, who brings a great track record as a very successful businessman, and that particularly acute mind toward what we need to do as a school and what we need to do as a community to build a base, as Andy said, of talent. And our friends from Hewlett Packard will tell you, investment will flow where they can invest in people. Money's fungible. They move that around a lot, but they're looking for a venue where they can invest in the people and the possibility of tomorrow. And to that end, Andy, your confidence in this school, your confidence in what they're able, in the students, because you're going to hire them, and your rather unique, I think it's a unique perspective as a business and community leader. By the way, I have been in Cleveland. I spent some time with Andy, seen his exciting business. It's just remarkable for us to be associated with a company that is so involved in what I call the digital forevermore, because that's the world in which we live in. It is the digital forevermore. There's enormous promise, but there's a little peril. There's great transparency, but you better worry about privacy. You've got all kinds of information that's going to assist us, but depending on that information can be used against you. It's promise and peril, it's private sector, it's public sector. There are so many opportunities out there dealing with the digital forevermore. Andy understands that implicitly because he deals with it every day, and for him to make that investment in Mercyhurst, in Erie, sends a great signal, I think, of it puts an imprimatur of trust in us and in the Mercyhurst. So, Andy, we thank you so very much for that. A couple final comments, if I might. And I think Congressman Kelly will probably tell you this, but elected officials often use the words public-private partnership. And here we've got a real world, real-time manifestation of how important it is and how critical it is and ultimately how good it is for a community to take an academic institution, connect it with the private sector, reach out to the government. Dr. Pond, thank you for being here, and create an environment where those who come through these doors and graduate from this university hopefully will stay here because they've got the digital skills that companies like Hewlett Packard will invest in. So this 21st century innovative district, this new 21st century Erie, Pennsylvania, can flourish and grow in the digital forevermore. And so that private sector engagement is really important. And I want to say to Erie Insurance Exchange and Tim, thank you for your participation. It means a great deal to the community. You're one of the main poles in the tent in this community in terms of not only the economic energy that you provide this town, your personal leadership, the work you do. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that my good friend Tom Hagen, who provided that leadership within the community and in Erie Insurance for a long time. Great to see you, Tom. Great to be with you as well. But it's that classic private sector partnership. But you know, at the end of the day, we do have, and we thank our government we thank Mike Kelly for his relationship with you and your interest in this. I want to say a few words about Mike, if I could. Our congressman, widely regarded, highly respected in Washington, D.C. Got one of the Plum Committee assignments there in Ways and Means, and I know, and I think, Michael, you said it best, he has personally taken interest in not only the school, but trying to connect us with the government. And to all the students who may be here in attendance or those who will track through the doors, this is a great opportunity for them as well. So you can enhance the reputation of a jewel of a school. You can provide opportunities for the students that come through the doors. You build relationships with the private sector, and the county executive will tell you, you create a pool of talent that will make it easier for the political figures and the business leaders to attract other investment in the community. You've done a really good thing. And I know, Mike, you've been trying to do that ever since you took office, and I appreciate your leadership. So my great pleasure to introduce you, our congressman and my congressman, Mike Kelly.
Thank you, Governor Ridge. It's really a pleasure to be with you. I think one thing, when you do get elected to public office, you suddenly realize that all of a sudden your entire world has changed. Because now you don't just represent yourself and your family and your community, but you represent a bigger entity altogether. But I want to talk today about something that's happening right here. President Victor, thank you for what you've done. It is about leadership. And I don't care what entity you look at, it is about leadership. Think of the coalition that President Victor was able to bring together to get to this point today. Listen, there's great ideas out there. We hear every day from people who say, if you would just do this, the country would be more successful. If you would just do this, the country would be more united. If you would just do this, the country would not be as divided as it is today. But this is a day we pause and we take a few moments to understand it comes down to leadership, strong leadership. Leaders that can see the future, leaders that can look at something that's a challenge and turn that into an opportunity. Leaders who look at a situation and say, why not here? Why not in our town? Why not in our university? Why not with our people? President Victor, you have done an incredible, incredible job. And to be able to stand here today with you, Governor Ridge, and there's nobody that's better known in the country than you when it comes to serving. You have just done a fantastic job. And I got to tell you, Andy, thank you so much for your comments, and Cal, thank you, Tim. I mean, this is all about people. It has nothing to do with your politics, by the way. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about R's versus D's. Can we please go away from the R's and D's and people who just want to make themselves me's, and let's change it to we's? That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. The relationship that we were able to build with Director Pond is because of Sam Green and I sitting down in our office in Washington, D.C., and all of a sudden the subject changed to what's going on in your neck of the woods. And we had an opportunity to talk about Mercyhurst. We had an opportunity to talk about the great opportunity. And for you to take time out of your day and come here, there's an old saying, 90% of life is showing up, because when you show up, people know you care. You care. There's not a person in this room that doesn't care. There's not a person in this room who's not aware. When I first got to Congress, I had a briefing held by a guy named Mike Rogers, who was at that time the chair of intelligence. Here's what he said. You know what, gentlemen? There's two entities in our country today. Those that are being hacked into and know it, and those that are being hacked into and don't know it. Nowhere in between. Nowhere in between. China and Russia all day long, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, are hacking into every possible situation they can hack into. They could destroy us financially. That's the goal. That's the key. But think what's taking place right here, right now, on the shores of Lake Erie, in Erie, Pennsylvania, the mining of talent that's going to protect our country as time goes forward. This is an incredible day, not just for Erie, not just for Mercyhurst, but for the United States. So to be here and be part of it, I can't tell you what a privilege it is, what an honor it is, and it is very humbling to sit here with all of you and understand that we see the vision, we see the future, we understand the dangers that are out there. And today, we're addressing it. So, President Victor, thanks to you, your leadership, and your team for bringing this home and making the country safe again with talent that is beyond reproach anywhere in the world. So thank you so much. God bless. Let's everybody have a great day.
Congressman, thank you for those remarks, and thank you again, and your staff, Sam Breen in particular, for making the connection with the Office of Personnel Management. So we've mentioned we're lucky enough to have the director of OPM with us today, Dr. Pon, and I know he'd like to make a couple of remarks, so I'd like to call you to the podium, sir.
Carpe diem. I understand that Mercyhurst, Sisters of Mercy on a wooded hill. Is that the definition? Well, thank you very much for the welcome. President Victor, thank you for having me. Governor Ridge, Secretary Ridge, Congressman Kelly, I think this is amazing. This is a fabulous start to where this school needs to be, where this country needs to be. I deal with the whole entire federal government's workforce. And one of the most challenging things that we have as a nation is keeping track, keeping abreast of what we need to know and what we need to do to defend against the bad actors out there. When I take a look at this program, I took a look at that beautiful center that we have over there and the capabilities that we have between the sponsorship of the private sector, the academic world, and also the federal government. There's a lot of opportunities right here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Very important for me to have shown up here. Why? Is because right down the road we have Boyers, Pennsylvania. That's right in your district, Congressman. When I met with Congressman Kelly, I talked about what we were trying to do here in Pennsylvania. We were trying to make sure that there is a robust workforce that is skilled, that has the future in mind, that can be the front line of defense for the rest of our country. Now, if you think about the past, we've always said air, sea, and land, those were our military. There needs to be in this country a cyber corps. And I think this is a great first step for getting there. We need to make sure that we invest in our talent, in our technology, and deploy that in a rapid pace. You're correct. Russia and China and a lot of other countries actually have state-sponsored programs in attacking our infrastructure. I should know, I was the Chief Human Capital Officer of the U.S. Department of Energy. It's one of the most attacked places in the whole entire world. Why? Because we house the 17 national laboratories like Sandia, like Lawrence Livermore, Stanford Linear Accelerator, Argonne National, Pacific Northwest. All of these organizations have supercomputers, have different types of vital information, both defensive and open science. So when you see this frontier of converging technology, of power of the information in the internet right at the hands of you, you can also think about the vulnerabilities that it has. Could you imagine all of your bank accounts being wiped out? Could you imagine the whole entire national grid being jeopardized? I can. I've been a part of those programs. So when I see a program like this, we are stepping forward. We are making sure that we are leaning into the defense of our country versus stepping back. So I applaud you on your efforts, and I look forward to working with you and strengthening our partnership between industry, academics, and the federal government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pon. I would like to call our final speaker to the podium, Tim Nicastro, the CEO of Erie Insurance. But before I do, we've talked about our industry partnerships, and Mercyhurst has another amazing partner in the community in Erie Insurance, and I'm sure Tim will talk a little bit about what we're doing together, but we couldn't ask for a more hands-on CEO than Tim Nicastro. We are lucky as a community to have him, and we're incredibly lucky to have Chairman of the Board, Tom Hagen, who our history department here at Mercyhurst is now named after. Erie Insurance is doing some exciting things in the risk space and the cyber space, and we're happy to be a part of that with them. So without delay, Mr. Nicastro.
Thank you, Cal, and good morning, everybody. It's a humbling experience to be here among these panelists. It's a very impressive group of people this morning. It's great to be here to see such a visible sign of improvement and such important activity, not only for Mercyhurst, and as others have mentioned, but for the entire city and the entire region. The Cyber Education Center is a tool that's going to make the academic partnership with Erie Insurance and Mercyhurst not only possible, but really exciting. Of all the facilities that we have at the corporation, some of the new emerging facilities that we have, nothing rivals this new lab. It's pretty exciting. Cyber problems such as ransomware, malware, data breaches are changing the way businesses operate in virtually every industry, and ours is like them. Planning and staying in front of these disruptors are important for every business in today's technology-driven environment. For insurance companies like ours, the challenge is determining how to assess these new cyber risks for insurability, how we're going to price them, and how we're going to make sure that the exposures are profitable, because otherwise the protection won't be able to be provided. The FW Erie Insurance Risk Management Program is the first cyber-focused risk management program in the United States. The four-year undergraduate major and its graduate equivalent will help create talent pipeline for Erie Insurance that will help us remain competitive and attract and retain the best talent. People have talked an awful lot about that, the brain drain here in Erie, the fact that the population is declining in the city. And there's a lot of activity underway. To me, it all begins with education. Education is the key to creating viable jobs, the types of jobs that our company looks to create every day. I'm happy to say that in spite of all the technology we've implemented over the 22 years I've been at the company, and we keep waiting for the employee growth trend to trail off, I'm proud to say it's not. The opportunity continues to grow even as we implement greater capabilities with technology. This program is especially valuable for insurance or risk management professionals seeking to better understand the growing cyber dynamics in the real world. In this real-world partnership with MCPc and the academic talents of Mercyhurst and the other private sector players in this region, we really think they're going to bode well. We think that they're a demonstration of the new model for education, where it's a convergence by all parties to serve the community. What I'm most excited about is the approach Mercyhurst took to developing the curriculum for this program. They identified space where there's a need for this training and worked with our professionals to develop the curriculum based on what we're looking for in new hires. Again, a very practical connection between education and what we're looking for in industry. Anyways, I could go on and on. I'm not going to do that. I am delighted to be here to be part of the launch of this program. I'm very excited to see the finished lab. I've seen it at various states throughout, but I'm going to be very excited to get down there, and I know that we all are as well. So thank you all for being here and sharing this momentous day. Thank you.
So there's a few logistics just to conclude with, but before I go over them, I'm going to ask our tour guides, Ryan Palm, Lindsay Frank, Mike Elnitsky, and Heidi Hosey, just come up front so we can identify who you are. So there's approximately 250 of you here today, so we can't take everybody through the center at the same time. So we've split you into 4 groups. If you look down at your name tags, you're color-coded on top of them. You're gonna either see green, blue, yellow, or gray. If you're in the green group, you're stuck with yours truly. and Ryan Palm up here at the front. If you're in the blue group, you're with Mike Elnitsky. So blue and green, we're gonna go right out the entrance that you came in, and we're gonna take you over to the Cyber Center. Those of you that are in the yellow group or the gray group, we would like to invite you to brunch. So this is much heavier than your just your typical Danish, down in the Marriott Cafe. As you know, outside of intelligence, Mercyhurst has one heck of a hospitality program. So we think you'll enjoy. Then we'll switch places after about 20 minutes, and blue and green will come back. So again, blue and green, we're going to proceed out front, and yellow and gray, please take the elevator or the stairs one level below to the Marriott Cafe. Thank you again so much for being here today.